Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm taking you through something we call Tooltips in Power BI. And so if there's something you're interested in, kindly watch to the end, and I'm sure we are going to take something really important from this. All right. Now, what is Tooltips? Now, Tooltips is simply, so an example is, let me give you an example. So once you point your cursor on something, on a visualization, on a result, all right, or an item from your visualization. Now that pop-up that appears, this demographic unknown popularity total giving you the figure, all right, is simply what is referred to as tooltips. All right, and so in Power BI you have the option to format this particular thing, all right, this particular thing or this pop-up box, all right, for our visualizations. There's a way to make them look cleaner, nicer, more appealing, all right, for your target audience, rather than leaving them bizarre as they are currently. All right, and so that is when the tooltips comes into play, and that is what in today's video we are going to be talking about. We are going to be changing that particular this particular box, all right, item box, all right, into something that looks a little more appealing. And so this video is going to be a really short video where I just show you how to do that. All right, so let's jump right in. And yeah, so one thing you can do is that once you've created a visualization, all right, or once you have your visualization and everything, it doesn't work with the cards and the slices. It works with visualization like the bar chart, the donut chart, the pie chart, all right. And so once you are done and you point your cursor on an item, all right, and you want to get information on that particular item, like so, like what we have, all right. Now what I can do is that, all right, now I've created my visualization. I want to format my tooltips. I want to make my tooltips that information. I want to make that as well really appealing. So how do I go about that? All right. Now when we come right here, after clicking on the visualization, when you come right here, you can see we have y-axis, which has what we are looking for, the popularity total, which has the sum of what we are looking for. We have the legend, we have small multiples, and we have tooltips. All right, so we have tooltips down here. Now tooltips are really important because you can also add a lot of things. So this particular item, we can add a whole lot of things aside the popularity total. For unknown, we can look at things like total episode, total rated, total ratings, and all of those stuff using just the tooltip. So we don't have to add new things to this visualization to make it look completely messy. All right, you can just use the tooltips. So let me show you what I mean by this. So now the demographic unknown is showing only result for popularity total. All right, but let's say that we don't just want the popularity total, we also want to find the average rating, the count, the total episodes, total rated, total ratings. How can we do this? All right, how can we let this visualization and this item show all of that? Okay, so this is how we can do it. So you come down to tooltips and whatever that you want, the measures that you want, all right, what you are looking for, you just pick them and put them in your tooltip, and then you can equally just pick the next one, put it in your tooltip. You can equally pick the next one. So whatever that you want that particular item to show, you can just put them in your tooltip, the tooltips. All right, so we have them in our tooltips. Now when I come back here, now you can see that because you've added items to the tooltips, now the demography is for popularity is not the demography is not just showing popularity total, but also showing the average rating, the cost animate title, or the count animate title, excuse me, total episodes, total rated, and the total ratings. All right, now if we come down here to the case demographic for case, it also gives us the information you are looking for. If we come down here to Shannon, it's also giving us the information you are looking for. So that is how we can use a tooltip. So normally what I like to do is that I use a tooltip, especially with my map visualizations, all right, because with map visualizations it's most of the time very difficult to be adding a whole lot of stuff to the particular visualization. So I just use the map chart and I said that okay, details by location or details by city, and I use the tooltips so that whenever I put my cursor on a particular city, I get all information that I want for that particular city. There's a project like that. I'll show you when we get there. All right. So one other thing is that once we have this, once we've added everything that we want, okay, this particular item to show, we can also format it and make it look more appealing, and that is what we are looking at. So how do we go about this? So what we can do is that we can easily come here. We already have our tooltips. All right, so we come here and then we go to general. All right, and the tooltips is already on. So once we are here, we come to general, we come here, we come to general, and then I'm going to say, all right, so now this is general. So now I need to format my tooltip. So it works just the same way as when you are formatting your X and your Y axis. All right, you can add a background, you can format the text, how the text should appear, and all of those stuff. All right, so you can do that. So you click on your tooltip down here, and then you say type. It says report page, default, whatever I want. Page is just simply the same. So what I like to do is I go to text first. I go to text, and I say, all right, I want my tooltips. Now look at this. Let me show you before I begin. Now look at how this is being shown. all right, or illustrated. I need to keep this in mind, all right, so that once we are done formatting, you can see the difference. Okay, so this is how it's done. All right, so now we are starting to format our tooltips, and like I said, we've come to general, you click down the arrow for the tooltips, you have this, so you click down on text. All right, so now I want my tooltip bolded. I want the colors for my tooltips, I don't want them like, I want them in this color. All right, I want them in this color. So the label color, let's see, I want the label color to be white, and I want the value to be this. All right, and then now I want the background for that particular thing. I don't want white, I want the background to be black. All right, so I want the background to be black. So these are the three changes that we've made. All right, one, we've, after the text, we've boldened it. All right, the font size, we can either increase or decrease as well. The font style, we can either decide to change it. So let's say I want to use Times New Roman. All right, so I change it, and then at the label color, which is more or less like the title. All right, so you saw we had demography, we had this, we had total popularity, then the amount, and then all of those. So those are the label colors, and then the value is the value for the label colors. All right, and then right after that, I change the background to black. So now let's go back and see. Now look at this. Tada! You see the magic. And so it is converted. We are able to format the tooltips also from how it previously was. All right, how messy it was, and you know, all of these stuff. So something like this, which is more appealing and more beautiful for anyone that is watching your visualization. When you point on an item in your visualization, it shows this, and it is beautiful. All right, so this is something that we can add to our visualization, or we can, or I believe we are able to pick up, you know, as we are beginning this series on visualization, and as we get closer to beginning our visualization projects in Power BI. All right, I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from this. Now leave a like if you really enjoyed this. If this is something that you never knew and it's your first time knowing, be sure to leave a comment down below saying that, wow, Mesh, I really did enjoy this video. You taught me something, and that keeps me going. All right, I really do appreciate it. Thank you if you decide to and you spend some time for it. All right, and so yeah, this is going to be it for Tooltips, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Be sure to take off yourselves, and yeah,